This is Will County's News Talk Sports 1340 WJOL. Good morning. It's time for another edition of a Money Talk radio show brought to you by our friends at NuMark Credit Union. Today we're going to be talking about first-time home buyers. Even if you are not, you probably know somebody that hasn't owned a home, and you can give them some very, very valuable information. More on that coming up in just a couple of moments. Coming this March, first-time home buyers seminar is going to be held at select NuMark credit unions, where NuMark's panel of local professionals answer your questions about inspecting, purchasing, and closing on your first home. Expert speakers include our Vice President of Mortgage Loans, Harry Stewart, and a panel of home buying specialists. You will have time to ask questions and even get pre-approved. This is an event that shouldn't be missed. Seminars are free and open to everyone. Seating is limited. For more information, call NuMark Credit Union at 815-729-3211 or visit newmarkcu.org for more information. At the end of the program today, going to give away a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. What question will we ask? Well, you don't know. I don't know yet either. Just be listening, because you're going to get a lot of great information, and I'll ask you to repeat some of that coming up in just a little bit. It's super easy if you haven't tried before. First-time home buyers, no better person to talk to than Harry Stewart, NuMark Credit Union Vice President of Mortgage Lending. Mr. Stewart, good morning, sir.
Hey, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Long time no talk. You sound well.
It's been a few months.
I know. That's right. But, hey, we're sitting here. It's the time of year where people are starting to think about, moving, selling. Very important time. I like that you guys are doing this event coming up a little bit later on this spring, which is a really good idea, because there's so much to learn, Harry, about buying a home. And even for those of us that have purchased a couple of homes, there's still laws that have changed. Obviously, the rates changed. There's a lot of muddy waters, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts to the process. That's why, and every time we do these seminars or radio shows, there's always like new stuff to go over. Because there's so many different parts, it's like you can never cover everything, but you try to just prepare people with the basics. So.
Well, let's get into basics and let's talk first home buyers. You have a son or daughter, never bought a home before, kind of good to pay close attention, get a refresher course so you can help them out so they don't make mistakes. I remember buying a home. I got jobbed out of some earnest money, which was never good, Harry. We don't need to get into that today, but that was bad. That was real bad, but another story for another day. Worked out very well. I wouldn't have moved to the house I live in now had I not got screwed out of that money, so I'm glad I did. But anyway, Harry, the first steps that are needed to purchase a home. Let's kind of start at the beginning.
Well, the very first step in the process is going to be you're going to want to get a pre-approval, and that can be done pretty easy. I always like, if it's a first-time home buyer, I always like to set up an appointment in person, see if we could go over income docs. And basically, the whole process pre-approval process takes maybe 20, 30 minutes, and I'd be able to put together a pre-approval for the home buyer, and that's going to do a few things. It's going to give them almost like a key to make an offer, or the pre-approval letter to make an offer on a property, see properties, and it'll also let them know exactly how much they can afford when looking for homes. So
pre-approval.
It's really the very first
pre-approval. Yeah, and let's face it too. If you go into a showing now and you don't have it, you might be the only one there, Harry. You need to have that pre-approval, or you're probably going to get, back of the line when it comes to being seriously considered for a home.
To be honest with you, I don't think there's a realtor that would really talk to you or entertain any type of offers without one. So
yeah, you're exactly right. All right, let's talk about credit score, because that's important in order to get a pre-approval. So that even kind of goes before the pre-approval. Credit score. What do we need to do with our credit?
Well, I always try to break it in as part of the 3 C's, credit, capacity, and collateral. So I would say credit's one of the most important. it gives you a lot of flexibility, and in some programs it'll give you better pricing. There are programs out there where it doesn't matter if your credit score is a little bit lower, you could get a pretty decent rate, but for the most part, you really want to keep that credit score high. It'll affect your down payment. Like you put down less money with a higher credit score. You could get some different underwriting flexibilities for the approval, and it'll allow you to go up to higher ratios too. So it really gives you a leg up if your credit's good.
Okay. What does someone do if that credit score has a couple of blemishes?
Well, we definitely work with a lot of members that their credit might not be as high as they would want it to be. Mm-hmm. If there's significant derogatory events like a bankruptcy, collections, different charge-offs, there's different scenarios we can run through the different bureaus that would tell us what we could do to improve that credit score if it's not there. And I never tell people, hey, it's not going to work, and that's the end of the conversation. It's always like, well, it doesn't work right now, but let's try to do this, and this. See if we could bring up your scores, and we'll revisit it in 60 to 90 days. So, but yeah, we definitely can work with somebody that has a few blemishes and put them on the right path.
There you go. And that can take sometimes just a couple of months, right?
I had one of our members did it in like 3 weeks. I couldn't believe it. Wow. He just did everything we said, and his credit score was a lot higher in 3 weeks. But yeah, you're right. Typically it would take, it depending on how aggressive people are to correct the blemishes that are on their credit. It could be a month. It could be 9 months. Depending on how damaged it is. So, but I guess the most important thing is taking the step to get on the path to start correcting it. So, and once that happens, once you make that decision, the rest is pretty easy.
Let's talk income right now, because that is going to make a difference. You obviously need to stay within certain limits if you're looking to buy a home that is more expensive. Talk about what type of income we need.
Yeah, in mortgage lending and probably consumer lending also, we deal with what's known as debt ratio, and the debt ratio is basically your gross monthly income versus your gross monthly expense. So when it comes to home buying, you really don't want to go over 50%. I would even say, 50% for approvals, but there's different programs where they'll cap you at 40, 45 or 40, and there's actually some programs that'll still trigger approvals over 50%. So, but yeah, it's not really a specific income that you need. It's more your ratios, your income versus your expenses. And in those expenses would be like auto loans, minimum credit card payments, student loans, real estate taxes for the home you're buying, homeowners insurance, whatever that premium would be monthly, and of course your mortgage payment, which would be the principal and interest of the mortgage. So all those things go into calculating your debt ratio.
Okay. We're talking to Harry Stewart. Harry is the Vice President of Mortgage Lending with NuMark Credit Union. Harry, let's get into the programs now, because there are different programs and options out there for home buyers, especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah, I would say like the first-time home buyer programs. FHA is always very popular. We always we try to do it like a conforming first-time home buyer program, which is like a home ready or home possible with like 3% down. VA has a program that's 100% financing. So if you're a vet, you could buy a house for practically no money down. And we also have I always like to say we have the keys to the cookie jar. We're a member of the Federal Home Loan Bank in Chicago, and we participate in their Down Payment Plus grant program, where home buyers we could It's basically a grant, a $10,000 grant for approved home buyers that they can use towards closing costs. So that makes it a little bit easy, but you do have to qualify. It's income sensitive. So if you're making too much income, you're probably not going to qualify for that grant. But we've helped. It was probably 120 members just last year alone. So it's a lot of money that we gave away.
That's a lot.
It's relatively simple to do. It only takes like maybe a day or two, and we do all the paperwork and handle it for everyone. So.
You mentioned down payment and closing costs. Let's address those right now. Down payment and the programs that are in place for assistance, and then let's get into closing costs, because those are sometimes, if you don't have someone like Harry who communicates well with you, you might be a little bit surprised when you sit there across the table from someone.
It's almost like with the closing costs, it's everybody's, it's on the balance sheet. Everybody really is trying to get paid. The realtors, homeowners insurance agent, flood insurance, title company, recording, even the county is taking money for the recording fees too. But I would say on average in Illinois, closing costs for a purchase, I think a good figure would be maybe $3,500 to $5,000 total, and that would include everything. But it's kind of, I would say it's not like you'd have to come up with that right out of your pocket. There's in Illinois, the real estate taxes are paid in arrears. So if like this year, you're actually paying for the 2024 tax year. So the time you didn't occupy the property in 2024 because you haven't bought the home yet, you're actually going to get a credit from the seller. And typically, because our taxes are so high in Illinois, that's enough to almost wash out a good portion of those closing costs. So it's really an advantage to the home buyer. I think as far as the down payment, I'd say the most popular down payment first-time home buyer programs would require maybe 3 to 5%. There's some exceptions like the VA loan that we talked about, or the USDA loan. You wouldn't need any money down if you qualify for those programs.
So 3 to 5% is what you're looking at, probably.
Yeah, for a first-time home buyer.
All right. Earnest money. I mentioned my story earlier. Don't want to go back into that. What is earnest money?
It's basically a good faith deposit on a contract for a house. It kind of locks you into that contract. They're not accepting any other contracts. Once they accept that earnest money, it's listed that way on the MLS. So the contract's pending, so they're hopefully not showing the home anymore or entertaining other offers. So it basically locks you into the contract you're for. So
Got it.
I would say like usually there's always going to be examples of earnest money not getting returned, but I think most people, unless there's something crazy going on, most people will get their earnest money back now if for whatever reason, if their loan gets turned down or if they find something wrong with the property, most of the time that's going to get returned.
Okay. What is an escrow? Do you have to establish an escrow?
So escrow, the way we're talking about it now, it means different things in different states. Like escrow for us means we're gonna include the taxes and insurance or flood insurance along with our mortgage payment. So if I'm a first time home buyer, do you have to have or set up an escrow account? No, but I would say yeah, it's almost expected. So unless somebody comes to me and say, hey, I want to pay that stuff on my own, I would recommend all first time home buyers to escrow. It's just there's so many things to concentrate on when you purchase your first home. You don't want other things coming up like, oh, you mean I have to pay for insurance, or you mean I have to pay these real estate taxes twice a year? So it's just easier to have have us do it instead of them doing it on their own. If you're a seasoned home buyer and you like to put away that $100 every single month for your tax, I wish it was $100, but like you put away a certain amount of money every single month and pay the taxes yourself, it would be.
Hey, Harry, are there any homes available in Fantasyland?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like the last $1,200 real estate tax bill.
Yeah, you can't even get your homeowner's insurance for $100 a month now.
It's gone up too.
Yeah, that's gone up big time, big time. Okay, so we have all this ready to go. We've called Harry. We've been pre-approved. Harry's got our credit tuned up. We know which program we're going with. Got my 3 to 5% ready for put down money for first-time home buyer. Now we've got to find another professional that is called a real estate agent. How do we find the right one?
Well, I would say whatever you do, like we have several partner realtors that we worked with, but I would say if whoever you choose, just make sure they're a professional and they're doing it. I would say you want somebody that's going to be doing it full time and is professional about it. You don't want your cousin that works part time at Home Depot. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that's bad, but the market is so competitive. You want to jump on anything that comes up. You don't want to work around somebody else's schedule. You want them really working for you. So whoever you choose, just make sure they're a professional and they do it full time.
Okay. Harry, biggest mistakes you've seen over the years that people make when buying a home for the first time, what are some of those so we don't make the same?
I would say not working with professionals. I would say another mistake, maybe not using a local credit union or lender. Sometimes people get stuck in looking everything up online and never, usually there's realtors out there that won't even entertain online lenders anymore just because of the problems that it brings. I would say maybe not getting a home inspection. That would be a big issue because there could be unforeseen issues with the home that you're purchasing, and then you don't find out till afterwards, and that could be very expensive.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Challenges facing home buyers in the market. I can guess a couple of them talking to my real estate friends and hearing them lament, but let me see what you come up with. I got the top two right now. Let's see if you agree with me on the top two.
I went to that Will County Center for Economic Development, and we talked a little bit about the different stuff going on with housing in Will County. And Will County actually, we were number one over the last 5 years in adding single family housing, which about 6,800 units, or homes. And I would say the biggest challenges is probably going to be the lack of inventory. Our inventory is down probably 35% in the last 5 years. And I would say housing affordability, probably the number one thing, because the home prices, they're still going up. So if you bought a home in 2019 and you looked at the value now, in Will County, the average home prices went up 50% in that 5 year period, which is a great return.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't want to sell because if I go in to buy anything, it's going to cost me more because of the interest rates.
Yep. The average interest rate's almost doubled. So the cost of housing, actually, it's increased. I don't know. I think the average that I looked at was average payment at $1,200 versus $2,100. So it's nearly double, So,
well, Harry, there's ways though that you can help. So I don't want to scare people off, and I brought that up on purpose because there's ways that you can help people with that and strategies.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I heard a phrase, and it's kind of a funny phrase, but you marry the home and you date the rate, So basically, the rate could change, during the process. Like you could get into your home when the rates do come down, and they will eventually come down. You could always refinance into a lower rate, lower payment, and you could continuously do. There's nothing that says you can only refinance once. You could do it 2-3 times over the course of 30 years, and I know a lot of people that probably do that. Once the rates go down, you don't want to stay in your high rate mortgage. You're just going to refinance and try to save some money, and the term "marry the house," that's like you're not gonna move every couple of years, but it's kind of a funny term, but I think there's some truth to it. Hey, if you love the whole house, just buy the house, and when the rates come down, just refinance.
That's a good idea, and that's why, folks, when you're looking for a mortgage provider, you find someone. I'll give you a plug here, Harry. Like Harry, who's been through the ups and downs. He's done this for well over 2 decades. He's seen the explosions, he's seen the implosions, and he's seen more of a normal. And I know this doesn't seem like normal, but he's seen more of the normal years like we are experiencing right now. And he even saw the glory years of 2.5%, which are probably gone forever and ever and ever. Harry, how can someone get a hold of you if they need to?
Well, the easiest way, just give me a call, 815-744-6767. You can also email me. It's really easy, hstewart@newmarkcu.org, or you could always visit our website or stop in the Crest Hill branch. I'm there probably 70 to 80% of the time.
Great. And you also want people to know that literally now is an incredible time of year to buy a home. Now is when things start popping.
Spring market, it's already started pretty fast. Usually would take like 4 or 5 weeks to everything to get going from the holidays, but mid-January we already were off to the races. So
awesome. Harry, it's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Let's see each other soon. Maybe you can buy me lunch or something.
Yeah, let's do it.
He had to think about that for a second, though, didn't he? Thanks, Harry. We appreciate it. I'm joking. Hey, did you like today's show? Coming this March, first-time home buyers. There's going to be a seminar held at select NuMark credit unions. For more information on how to meet Harry in person and sit down in front of a panel of home buying specialists, call 815-729-3211. 815-729-3211.